Marc Ganis joins us now to discuss China's movie industry. He is president and co-founder of Jiaflix, an American film firm that helps market films in China. Marc, great to see you again.
Great to see you.
Well, talk to us about the impact on China's movie industry and theaters as of late when we look at these recent lockdowns in Shanghai, and then you have Beijing's restrictions, of course.
Right. It's been a dramatic drop. New Year's, of course, had very big theater numbers in China. But since then, we're talking about a 40% drop for the year so far to date. This is consistent with what's happened around the world when it's come to lockdowns and movie theaters have to be closed because you simply can't have people gather during a pandemic. So it's a very big issue. It's great that the government is taking some steps to help the theaters. And now we have to see what happens as we go forward with the films that are ready to be released for the rest of the year.
Well, I want to ask you about Jurassic World. It provided China with its biggest box office weekend since Spring Festival. Will we likely see more U.S. films do well in China with Hollywood rebounding? And now, we're in summer movie season.
Yeah. It's a real question mark because it's not just COVID, it's not just the lockdowns, but there are also some political tensions. So we've had movies like Top Gun Maverick, Doctor Strange that have been huge over in the United States, which have not been allowed to be released in China, and we don't expect they're going to be released there. So there are a number of other factors at play here. And so the movies that will come into China are going to be selective films, and we'll see how well they do.
Well, talk to us more about some of those other factors that could be in play. What do we see with the domestic movie-making industry right now in China?
Well, the Chinese domestic movie industry has made incredible strides over the last 5 to 10 years. But as the rest of the world, during COVID lockdowns, things became very difficult to produce, couldn't get the crews together, lots of appropriate government restrictions. And so the content that is available to come out now is not the same as would have otherwise been in the pipeline. The quality isn't there, the quantity isn't there, and you can't promote them in the same way either. So we're still in for some tough days ahead for the Chinese film industry and the exhibitor industry as well.
What about streaming? We know that a lot of people got used to streaming as the pandemic happened, but where does that stand now compared to earlier in the pandemic?
It's really interesting. That's a great question because we would expect streaming would still be doing huge numbers. But it's so interesting that both in China and in the United States, streaming has lost some of its appeal. People have come to realize that they want the experience of being in movie theaters, watching movies with groups of other people on a big screen with great sound and some popcorn or soda or that kind of thing as well. So whereas people can watch television shows being streamed at home and be comfortable with them, people really want to see movies in movie theaters.
Everyone just really misses that experience. Marc Ganis, great to see you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. My pleasure.